dollar. Dirt and money, no soul. Had to go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack of flip for my foes. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partners. Keep my money long, get my team strong. Let me run away from my problems.
Yo, what's good, original?
Maybe we should just run it all together instead of doing a pause. Okay. Okay, that's no.
It's your boy DJ Nuki, your girl.
Sierra Nicole.
Back on the channel with another
Kid and C original. Okay, baby.
Welcome back to the channel, man. We got top 10 innocent young people sentenced to life
in prison.
Damn.
My goodness. How young?
Innocent. Look, this the main
top 10 innocent young people. Oh my goodness. Innocent. I didn't even realize it said innocent. I was so stuck on like how young they were. Wow. How you innocent? Innocent young people.
You know how many people on like death row and got life in prison?
No,
that's
I know.
Innocent?
But
bro, imagine how many people they didn't kill on death row. That's actually innocent.
Yeah. We're not gonna talk about that.
I don't everybody can't be guilty of every crime. Like y'all ain't getting this shit 100%
right.
Like no,
not at all.
And just imagine the person who actually did the crime probably still out walking or committed another crime because y'all
didn't get it right the first time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So with that being said, man, before we get into it, make sure you check out the links in the description box.
Down below.
You already know where to go if you want to first support. All our links and endeavors are in the description box. Also, we always take the time. Salute to the comment of the day.
Salute to you.
We highly appreciate y'all, man. Keep running us up. But also, if you enjoyed today's video, locking in with a thumbs up. Link to the original video is in the description box. Let's go ahead and get into it. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's get it, y'all.
Hey, how's it going, you guys? I'm Landon Dallasing, and welcome back to a brand new Most Amazing Top 10 video. If you guys haven't already, go check out our Instagram account. It's Most Amazing Official. I'll put the links down there in the description. Send us fan art if you guys want. The PO box is down there in the description. We're going to be posting all of you guys' fan arts on social media, and we're going to do a special video for you guys on this channel. Okay, so there was a time in our justice system where racial profiling, discriminatory jury members, and DNA testing did not exist. Some could argue that a lot of people are serving time behind bars for crimes they haven't committed, and you guys know that we're familiar with all of that because we have so many videos and series of people sentenced away and they're innocent. Unfortunately, there are even children and teenagers who are convicted of serious crimes and are forced to spend their lives in prison even though they're innocent. So you know what, let's take a look at the top 10 innocent kids sentenced to life in prison. Starting off this very unfair list at number 10 with Santiagoventura Morales. In 1986, he was convicted of murdering a 19-year-old man after they had an argument. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison but maintained his innocence despite being offered a plea deal. He made several appeals after his conviction, but they were all denied. However, due to a lack of an appropriate interpreter and other deficiencies in the trial, it actually led to his conviction being overturned, and it was determined that a different person was responsible for the murder. He spent about 5 years in prison as an innocent man, but he had plans to become a lawyer someday so that he can help people in a very similar situation. And like I said, we all know there's many people in this situation. Timothy Masters comes into this list at number 9. On February 11th, 1987, the body of Peggy Hetrick was found in a field and she had been stabbed in the back and sexually mutilated. 15-year-old Timothy Masters lived in a trailer that was only 100 feet away from her body. The police questioned him and searched his room and found several thousand pages of violent journal entries and drawings in his closet and a collection of knives. Even though there's no physical evidence linked him to the crime, he was charged and convicted of the murder and he was sentenced to life imprisonment without parole. Well, 12 years later, his sentence was later removed when DNA evidence proved his innocence. Timothy Masters was given $5.9 million in order to settle the wrongful conviction lawsuit. The wrongfully convicted
Just 5.9? That ain't enough.
What you said?
But they make it enough.
What you said?
They still like, that ain't enough. I did 12. They didn't say 12.
12.
That's $500,000 a year.
And you didn't even have.
That's only $500,000 a year. No, bro. Ain't no tell. He was 15.
15.
So when he got out, he was what, 27? Ain't no telling what went on.
That's crazy and sad.
As a 15-year-old, you getting thrown, especially if you ain't never been in like the justice system or even been kicked out of school. Like for real, like now you getting locked up.
Right.
Say for instance, you ain't never got the fighting no. You know what I'm saying? That life ain't made for everybody, bro.
Not at all.
Anderson comes into this list at number 8. Marvin Anderson was only 18 years old when he was convicted of robbery, sodomy, abduction, and rape. An all-white jury convicted him on all the counts and he was sentenced away to 210 years in prison. I mean, is this real life right now? However, in 1988, another man came forward and admitted that he was the one that actually committed the crime. He fully confessed under oath. He did this in an open court, but the judge who presided over the original trial refused to drop the charge on Marvin Anderson. Marvin spent a total of 15 years in prison, but it took another 4 years to become fully exonerated. Wow. And now at number 7, we have Dennis Brown. He was convicted of rape back in 1984 when he was only 17 years old, and this is after the victim picked him out of a lineup. You know when they stand there and you're like, he's the man, number 3? Dennis Brown claimed that the police had threatened him at knife point, forcing him to confess to the charges. The jury found him guilty, and when he was charged with aggravated rape, burglary, and aggravated crimes against nature, which gave him a sentence of life imprisonment. Dennis Brown contacted the Innocence Project and DNA tests concluded that he was not the rapist. So in 2004, after serving 19 years in prison for a crime he never committed, he was finally released. The Dixmoor 5 comes into this list at number 6. The Dixmoor 5 are 5 African American men who were falsely convicted of rape and murder of a 14-year-old Katrina Matthews. At the time of the arrest, the 5 men were between the ages of 14 and 16 years old. During the intense and long interviews, 3 of them gave false confessions because they were coerced and physically abused and threatened during the interrogation. Each of them received at least 80 years in prison, but in 2011, DNA tests concluded that the semen on the victim belonged to another man. All of the charges were dropped after they spent 20 years in prison, and they finally became free men in 2011. They reached a wrongful conviction settlement of $40 million, which is actually the largest settlement in Illinois' history. Moving on to Thomas Haynesworth.
Why?
Bruh,
that's worse.
The one in the middle though, like I just kept looking at him and he is so hurt. Like the hurt that you could see in his face. Like what's the
That's
world?
worse than
yes, because
y'all part 5.
Because y'all
Central Part 5.
Yes, because y'all put a child on me. Y'all put a child on them. A 14-year-old.
And then they were minors, so you know they got it in prison.
You know what I'm saying?
That when folks find out
what you in there for, they don't understand
rape.
Like
y'all so-called gang rape.
That is crazy.
A child, oh my,
that is crazy.
Like.
And did it say how old they were when they went in?
Between the age of 14 to 16.
And 16.
So you know.
So, but still, even though that's
why we never heard of that?
I
heard about the Central Park 5 before the movie even came out.
Yeah.
To me, this trumps Central Park personally because all of them didn't do it. Like one person did a long time, the rest of them did a couple years, got out, plead.
Either way it goes, both of the situations are
both
messed up.
But I'm
because
just saying,
anybody getting accused for something they didn't do is messed up. But this one, I'm definitely after this. I have to go.
Research.
Yes, you know me.
And he makes it onto this list at number 5. He was arrested at the age of 18 years old after a woman identified him as the attacker. He was convicted of 4 violent rapes and sentenced to a total of 84 years in prison. Thomas Haynesworth maintained his innocence throughout his time spent in prison, and based on new DNA evidence, the real perpetrator was believed to have been his neighbor and closely resembles him. After the DNA testing, he was exonerated and was released from prison in March of 2011 after spending 27 years in prison behind bars. So for this wrongful conviction, he was given a lump sum of $1 million. I bet you the guy was taxed on it and only took home like just over half. He had 2 types of pensions, and he was also given a tuition at a community college. Christopher Abernathy takes the number 4 spot. On October 5th, 1984, the body of a 15-year-old girl was found behind a shopping mall. She had been raped and stabbed to death. More than a year after the crime, police brought in 18-year-old Christopher Abernathy for questioning. After 40 hours of interrogation, he had signed a confession which stated that he attempted to rape her and accidentally stabbed her with a pocket knife. Christopher was a high school dropout and he had a learning disability as well. So the police used this and coerced him into making a false confession. He was eventually sentenced to life in prison because he was 17 years old at the time of the murder. The jury initially wanted him to get the death penalty. After the Innocence Project picked up his case, new DNA evidence exonerated him of all charges and he was released after spending 28 years behind bars as an innocent person. The West Memphis 3
These folks just be looking to 17. I got a learning disability. I got a not even a learning disability because it seemed like he had you know what I'm saying, a disability anyways.
And y'all knew that or realized that.
Y'all realized
and took advantage of that. Same way of that situation.
They got the little brother. They got his nephew, and nephew
so crazy.
Ended up confessing without any. He asked for his mom. They're like, "Oh yeah, she'll be down here," and y'all
They don't know. They don't know. I ain't never been in this situation.
Mentally,
no one's ever, told me not to do this or not to do. You know what I'm saying?
No one coached me. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
Now growing up where we come from, I ain't gonna lie. My mom told me, "Hey, anything ever happen, police or you feel uncomfortable, tell them, call me. You don't say nothing until I get there." You got to start teaching your kids life lessons, and that sucks. You have to train.
Yeah.
Especially, I'm gonna go ahead and say, especially young black kids, especially young black boys. We gotta get trained on real life, and we have to grow up so fast that it's fucking scary, bro. Life is, by the time you 8, 9, they starting to teach you, get ready, prepare you you 18, 19 to be able, what you finna go through and deal with.
That's sad, but true.
Ironically make it into number 3 spot. This was a murder case that shocked the world. 3 little boys were found tied up. They were tied up with their own shoelaces, sexually mutilated, beaten, and left for dead. The local authorities arrested 18-year-old Damien Eccles, 16-year-old Jason Baldwin, and 17-year-old Jesse Miss Kelly because they were known around town for wearing black and listening to heavy metal. All 3 of these teenagers were convicted of the murders and were sentenced away to serve life in prison except for Damien Eccles, who was sentenced to death. This is a highly controversial case because all of the evidence was circumstantial, so a lot of people believe that they are actually innocent. The Scottsboro Boys comes into this list at number 2. They are 9 African American teenagers who are accused of raping 2 white women on a train back in 1931. These were 9 unemployed young men who were illegally riding the train. They were held in Alabama on minor charges, and they convinced these 2 women into saying that these young boys had raped them. Within 2 weeks of this false accusation, the Scottsboro Boys were convicted and 8 of them were sentenced to death. And the youngest boy, who was 13 years old, was sentenced to life imprisonment. One of the women who have claimed to be a rape victim came forth and admitted that she was coerced and manipulated into accusing these boys of raping her when they never even touched her. And finally, in a number 1 spot.
Wow.
So did they get out? Because 8 of them, y'all automatically sent them to death. 1 life in prison, but we don't know.
I will look this up too afterwards.
God, you finna go back and watch this and look.
No, I remember. I'm gonna look them up.
It's too many cases for you.
No, I'm gonna look them 2 up.
Which ones? This one, and I'm trying to find out the West Memphis 3 and the ones from Chicago, the 5 from Chicago.
From Illinois, yeah, I'm gonna look them up and this one.
We have George Stinney. On March 1944, 2 young girls had been found brutally murdered and beaten over the head and dumped into a ditch. George Stinney was a 14-year-old African American who was convinced of the murder as a result of racially biased and discriminatory jury. He was convinced in less than 10 minutes by an all-white jury and he was sentenced to death. He was denied an appeal and he was executed by the electric chair. A group of lawyers and activists investigated this case, and in 2014 he was exonerated of all the charges nearly 70 years later. Well, there you guys have it. Thank you so much for watching this video.
I remember that.
They were supposed to actually make a movie.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say they're trying to make a movie of that. I think they keep coming into issues with.
That made me mad.
They coming into issues with being able to make the movie, and I don't think they really want to put that out.
Yeah. you know.
Yeah, you know what I'm getting at. So,
Wow.
hey, that list was crazy, bro.
Very much so.
And the fact
that last one though, like the other ones, yeah, most definitely. But the fact that he didn't even have the chance.
In 10 minutes, bro. 10 minutes. Y'all guilty. I'm 14. A 14-year-old boy. You think too white? Come on now.
You know.
Come on now. And he looked frail and little.
Yes.
Not all 14-year-olds are the same, bro.
Me,
I was a tall, like, I've been the same height since I was 14.
Yeah.
So technically,
Well, that sound kind of.
I ain't short.
Yeah,
but technically, I was a tall 14-year-old compared to everybody else.
That's crazy.
And I know some 14-year-olds that were like 5 foot tall.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like he probably was like 5'2", 5'3".
Yes. You telling me, really? Come on now.
Bro. Nah.
Okay. Anyway.
With that being said, man, y'all spam us up. Let us know y'all thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. This is crazy, man.
That was
as
crazy.
always. Y'all know how it go, man.
Mm-hmm.
I will go with the name DJ Kid This Is.
We are.
We are.
Go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack and flip for my foes. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partners. Keep my money low, get my team strong. Let me run away from my problems.